Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and today yet another Final Fantasy XIV news video. We actually got quite a bit of news, some of it not so great and some of it really freaking amazing, but we'll just have to see where it goes from here. Now, this news is coming from an unofficially translated Dengeki Online interview. Now, this interview was about Final Fantasy XIV and GDC 2014, so like I always say with unofficial translations, take it with a grain of salt, but we'll see what happens here. Now, some of the things here, a little bit controversial in my opinion, but some of the things really freaking amazing. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, for starters, they talked about the Fantasia Potions. Now, apparently we're going to be getting some news about those on Friday during the live letter. I'm guessing pricing and availability on the MOG station. For those of you who don't know, but I'm sure all of you watching this do know, Fantasia Potions let you remake your character's appearance. They don't let you rename your characters, but they let you remake your character's appearance. Could they change it to make it include your name? They could, but for now, that's what they do. So we'll probably be getting those in the MOG Station store soon. So those of you who are looking forward to them, please look forward to it. That's all I have to say. But one thing that struck me as a little bit controversial is that they did, apparently, according to this unofficial translation, again, grain of salt, there was mention of more retainers becoming available via microtransactions. Now, those are word for word what I'm reading. That would mean that on the MOG station, you could pay maybe $1 for an additional retainer. I don't like that. Granted, retainers aren't a major piece of the puzzle. It's really just something extra, and I'm imagining it's because of ventures. While your retainer is venturing, I can't imagine they're going to be able to use the market board, but I don't know. That seems like something that they just shouldn't do to me. It's actually something, if I remember correctly, they had plans for, or actually did during Final Fantasy XIV 1.0. I think it was just planned for, and because of the game's lack of success, they never actually went through with, but I don't know, I'm not a fan of, even if it's just $1 paying for more retainers. I mean, that's kind of something you'd expect from a free-to-play model, paying for inventory spaces and bag space and things like that. I'm really not happy about that at all. I'm sure when if this is real, I remember, again, this is unofficially translated. If that gets announced, I'm sure there will be somewhat of a backlash, and we may see changes around those, but you never know when it comes to Square Enix. So again, grain of salt, just feel like I have to say that a million times when it comes to anything involving microtransactions. But then we got some good news and some other controversial news. One piece of good news is that the Mirage Prisms, which is the Japanese name for the Glamour System, even blue items like Allegan gear can be changed. So those of you who are wondering, oh, I have this Allegan gear now, am I going to be able to modify its appearance with the Glamour System? And according to this unofficial translation, it seems like you will. Other than the whole, if something takes up more than one slot thing, you won't be able to use it. I can imagine that they're trying to be as unrestrictive as possible. We were very worried about restrictions about this a long time ago, but it seems that they're trying to be as unrestrictive as possible. Dark light, still technically a problem because of the way that it's designed, taking up head and body and legs and feet, but I guess we'll just have to see where it goes from there. Now, some interesting news about tomestones. Now, we all know that there's going to be a new tomestone that's coming out, and mythology is going to be uncapped. According to this interview, philosophy itself is going to be taken out of the game. Now, I don't know what to think about that personally, but I guess it makes sense because otherwise you would just have this infinitely increasing baseline of gear. It seems odd to me, you know, that you could just, whatever, you know, here's philosophy. You can't really do anything with it anymore, but it's there. So, what are they going to do with philosophy? You're actually going to be able to trade it in for mythology, apparently. So, I guess free 2000 mythology for pretty much everyone, because I'm sure a bunch of us are sitting on 2000 philosophy right now. And as you can guess, because of that trade-in, mythology is indeed taking philosophy's place. If these translations are correct, be very, very interesting. Just because I didn't expect it. I mean, I thought philosophy would be pretty much useless, and I didn't know how it would be kept into the game and made relevant, but I guess that makes sense. Now, you're probably wondering, if philosophy's gone, what's going to be happening to Darklight? Well, apparently, Darklight will become dungeon drops. Again, not a big fan of that. That would, according to this interview, mean that item level 70 would come from the new dungeons. That would mean, Lost City of Amdapor, and the other two dungeons, Brayflox's Longstop and Halatali hard modes, will all drop item level 70 gear. And then they'll also drop the new Tombstone, which will be for, I'm assuming, item level 90 gear. So then you have item level 80 from the Crystal Tower and item level 90 for the Binding Coil Bahamut 1 through 5. We still don't know anything about the Binding Coil 6 through 9, Leviathan Extreme, or Moggle Extreme, or even Gilgamesh. But most other stuff is going to be exchanged with the new tomes, and they still kept that item level a secret in this interview. Also, content-wise, before I get to the meat of this topic, they said they already have a roadmap plan for the next 2 years of the game's development, and that most pre-production and concept work for 3.0 is complete and they are moving into production now. So that would basically mean that they're going to be starting production of the expansion soon, which is... it's only been 7 months. I guess it's a good time to get started. We might even get an expansion just a little bit less than 12 months from now if they're already starting production on it now. We've seen how quickly the development team can work, but hopefully they don't work on it too quickly. I really want them to put some good hard work into it. Maybe take another 18 months before the expansion comes out. Maybe late or the middle of 2015 would be optimal time for me to see an expansion. But all really good news. But to me, even though those are all really crazy, things that were taken with a grain of salt from the untranslated page, the Zodiac weapons is something that I personally thought was the most interesting. Now, a lot of people have been talking about these relic weapons, relic upgrades, and where it's going to go from this point on. Apparently, according to this interview, we're going to be reforging our relic weapons, and apparently the quest is meant to be far more time-consuming than it was originally. We can expect incremental improvements on these relic quests in every single patch, pretty much 2.2, 2.25, 2.3, etc. So expect even the halfway patches to have some sort of progression set for these relic weapons. So they're trying to implement these patches more timely so people have more things to do in between patches, which I do like. I think that that's something that I very much will appreciate, especially if even in 2.3 I'm still going to be upgrading these weapons. Apparently, the questline is going to be long enough so that most people probably won't complete it before 2.25 rolls in, and that's about a month and a half. So a month and a half for something that I may not even get done, that's more along the lines of something that will keep people logging in, and somebody like me who is a Final Fantasy XI fan can appreciate things like this. I'm sorry, those of you who do, only play the game a few hours a week, but I'm sure that you guys will be able to keep up with this quest at some point. We've seen how the way that the game is being developed now. Square Enix is doing their best not to leave people behind, but they realize there has to be something also for people who do like to spend gratuitous amounts of time on the game. So I'm assuming no matter what, you guys also, those of you who, go to work and take care of your kids and don't have a lot of time for the game, those of you who just enjoy it at your own pace, and by God, I love you guys because you guys make the MMO market successful to some degree. You guys are a big portion of the player base on most MMOs. Don't worry, I'm sure you guys will be able to get this done as well, even though they're just the way they're describing it makes it seem like it really won't be something short term. So another long-term goal in terms of a weapon, and of course, you will have other weapons in the game that you can get from raiding and the primals and things like that, so don't feel like you're being cornered off from this. We'll see how it goes, though. But I personally hope that you guys out there who don't, aren't able to play as much are able to get these quests done as well at some point or another. Eventually, apparently, they will have customizable stats. That's incredible. Remember how much people complain about itemization? And granted, there's some pretty crappy itemization on some of the items out there, including the relic weapons themselves. That's great. I can already see what every scholar is going to go for, what every bard is going to go for, what every monk is going to go for. It's pretty much going to be your ideal weapon, no matter what other weapons are in the game. It seems like this weapon will eventually is the key word, be able to become your primary and ultimate reforged weapon. I like it. And unlike the current system, this is going to be a third route where you can nurture and cultivate it to your preference. So basically, you look at the ultimate weapons being Allegan weapons. This is going to be another way to get an ultimate weapon in the game. So what that tells me is you won't, I don't know, to me it feels like you're not going to have to sit there and wait on your drop every single week. Over time, you can eventually cultivate this piece of gear into being your perfect piece of gear. I don't know how it's going to work. This is all being unofficially translated. It could all be a sham for all I know. But That information right there, I had to share with you guys. What do you guys think about the new Zodiac weapons? Not Relic Weapons, being renamed to the Zodiac. It might just be the Japanese name for them. But new relics or Zodiac weapons, whatever you want to call them. What do you guys think about the retainers via microtransactions? Still a bit iffy about that. Darklight being moved to dungeons? Meh. Maybe if they make it look cooler, I don't know. And how about that production for the expansion pack? Where do you think the expansion is going to go? Let me all know in the comments below. I love reading your comments. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy information, Final Fantasy XIV information. Also, be sure to check out the rest of my channel for other videos, especially Final Fantasy videos, Diablo, Dark Souls. You'll be seeing a lot more of all that in the coming future. Also, be sure to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter to get regular updates about when I'm posting videos like this one, and also you can just pick my brain if you have any questions. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitch where I do live stream, currently live streaming Final Fantasy X HD. We just passed everyone's favorite laughing scene, so you guys should come in and enjoy the rest of the game. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.